Equalizer 3 is closing out the summer. Is it worth your time seeing it in the theater? Let's discuss. Okay, Denzel's the GOAT. I've seen everything he's ever been in for nearly 4 decades. He only gets better. To me, he's the greatest of all time. He brings it no matter what the role is. I think seeing this film in the theater is worth it. This is not just your typical action thriller. This is deeper than that. This is on the level of Training Day, which reunites Antoine Fuqua and Denzel Washington in his Oscar-winning performance in Training Day. There is also a nod to Training Day in this film, which I'll get into without spoiling the scene. But Antoine Fuqua and Denzel Washington have worked together on a few movies, but the most prominent one, I think, was Training Day, where we saw Denzel tap into being a villain for the first time. And man, was that a performance! The level of performance that he brought in Training Day is the level of performance he brings not just in Equalizer 3, but in the entire series. And I don't think that you have to, be caught up with the first previous movies, but let me tell you, the movies honor the TV show from the 80s. It honors the TV show, the original IP, and it shows how deep of a performance Denzel Washington, how deep he's willing to go, even in an action film. So, director Antoine Fuqua and Denzel took this on the road. They are in Denzel's character, Robert McCall, is in Italy, retired or on the precipice of retiring. He's burnt out, but not without setting the score. The Equalizer is a government mercenary who makes things equal, who equals the score between good and evil. So, in this way, I won't spoil why he's in Italy, but he is there for a purpose, but is recovering from an injury and is loving it there, loving being off the grid and retiring. But he has to settle a score. And in settling that score, he realizes that there's a bigger threat threatening this small town that he's grown to love in his semi-retirement. He is retired. And this is also a chance for Dakota Fanning and Denzel Washington to reunite after almost 20 years. They were in Man on Fire together. And it was just good seeing the chemistry between the two. She is a government agent that has ties to a character whom I love from the other Equalizers. And it was just really nice to see how they tied in the other Equalizer films to this one. So we find McCall recovering from this life-threatening injury while settling a score, and finds that the mafia is taking over this small town, taking money from small business owners, threatening their lives, evicting innocent innocent citizens, making them homeless and so forth. It's taken over this town because they want to turn it into profit for them. And Robert is trying to stay out of it because he is off the grid and he needs to make it back to America for a certain purpose, but he just can't let it go because he is enjoying this life and the beauty. Simple story, of course, but this is Denzel Washington, who is going to dig deep and give you a character study. This film is very well paced. I love the tone. And with action movies, because the thrill, the action sequences really highlight a film, in this one, the action sequences are really punched up and surprise you in a way that jump scares would. They catch you off guard because there's so many larger sections of the film where it is about the drama and about the story, that pacing. It really does catch you off guard. So I love how the action sequences are spread throughout the film, because you're not just getting an action film, you're also getting a drama. And the story is very compelling and intriguing and very easy to follow because Denzel adds so much depth to it. Dakota Fanning plays a CIA agent who has ties to Denzel in a way I won't spoil. And he helps her unfoil or uncover this conspiracy that the mafia in this town has been planning. In most action films, you expect a lot of action. Because you're not expecting the action, because there are so many long bouts of drama, it really catches you off guard. It's pulsating, eye-popping, like jump scares. The suspense is thrilling, and they do not shy away from the graphic nature. And of course, it's filmed in Italy on location in such a beautiful oceanfront town. The drone shots are not nauseating in a way. I like Michael Mann's drone shots, but they are oftentimes nauseating. These drone shots are so beautiful and so steadily captured that you'll be mesmerized by how picturesque the town is against the backdrop of so much drama that's happening on the ground. If you love Training Day, and even if you are not so familiar with Training Day, but you know that one scene where Denzel has like the showdown with the neighborhood because they are just over him because he's a dirty cop. And he's like, King Kong ain't got nothing on me. There's a scene which was a nod to that scene in Training Day because Antione Fuqua and Denzel Washington were teamed up in that film. There is a nod to that scene in Training Day because that's such a beloved scene. There's also a nod to Man on Fire because of Dakota Fanning. So if you like and Denzel pairing up, I love their chemistry because it felt so like parental in a way. Their banter together and the connection they have because she was just a little girl in Man on Fire with Denzel, and to see her all grown up, this beautiful thespian, and reuniting with Denzel, it was such a beautiful nod to Man on Fire and Tony Scott. Tony Scott and I think Antione Fuqua really captured some of the best performances that Denzel has ever delivered. I know Spike Lee has too, but they in particular. And so I thought merging those connections were good, especially if you're a Denzel fan, a Tony Scott fan, and or an Antione Fuqua fan. At any rate, this film is worth your time. See it in Dolby. It's well paced. You're going to get those shocking, jaw-dropping action sequences for sure. I think the ending is very satisfying. This is a great film. It's a great closeout to the summer. See Equalizer 3 if you can on the biggest screen you can find this weekend.